Welcome back. We're now going to look at a very interesting topic. We're going to look at human evolution. When we look at our own species and related species, we see that we all belong to this group of mammals called the primates. We are related to various different forms of monkeys and apes, such as the orangutan, chimpanzees, and gorillas. Now, when we say we're related, what does this mean genetically? Well, it means that we share our gene pool or a number of our genes with these other organisms. Some of our genes. Our closest relatives, of course, are the chimpanzee, and we share 99% of our genes with chimpanzees, and yet we are very, very, very different to chimpanzees. Where did we come from? Well, this is what we call a phylogenetic tree. It's a very simplified one. Remember that in matric you only need to study certain key species. Many other species have been discovered that would complete this picture more accurately, but would also make it very complex. So we're going to focus on just a few key species that show us that from a common ancestor, two major lines diverged, one giving rise to this very interesting group of organisms, a number of different species of them, but all with the genus Australopithecus. The other branch gave rise to the genus Homo. We know that there have been many different species of the genus Homo that have existed over time, but there is only one extant species, Homo sapiens. That means by extant we mean still living today. Homo sapiens, the wise person, and that is you. This is a different kind of phylogenetic tree. It shows us on an x-axis ranging from about 4 million years ago to the present. It shows us the different organisms in our group of organisms leading up to humans as we know them today, Homo sapiens. And it interestingly shows which groups were living simultaneously at the same time. And we see that at the present time, it's only Homo sapiens. But for a period of time, Homo sapiens lived together with another species known as Homo neanderthalensis, or Neanderthal man. And we can see that at other periods of time, other organisms, hominids, lived together and shared ecosystems, and therefore they would have come into competition with each other. Many of the species indicated on those previous phylogenetic trees existed at the same historical time, and we know then that they would have competed with each other. We also have seen, of course, that Homo neanderthalensis is the only species to have lived at the same time as modern humans, and we're the only hominids left today. Let's go right back then and have a look at some of these forms. Remember, this is certainly not all of them. Australopithecus, the word Australopithecus means the southern ape. And there are a number of different species within this genus: Australopithecus africanus, robustus, afarensis, many more. The Australopithecines showed many trends, and I want you to look at that word trends. A trend is a pattern of development towards something. And they show many trends of being human-like rather than ape-like. Next week, we're going to do a lot of comparisons between what human anatomy is like and what ape anatomy is like. You need to be able to make those comparisons for example, with skull shape, the shape of legs, the shape of hands, and so on. But Australopithecus shows a definite trend from being more ape-like to being more human-like. They were bipedal, which means they walk on hind legs, preferably. Now we know that chimpanzees and gorillas, for example, can walk on 2 legs, but that is not their chosen mode of locomotion. If they're frightened, or if they want to get somewhere very fast, they drop to all 4s and they would run on all 4s. Australopithecines, however, were bipedal by choice, and we can tell this from the shape of their hips, from the pattern of their feet, where we found fossils of their footprints. We also know that their brains were bigger than ape brains, and their teeth were more like human teeth, and their jaws were far more like human jaws. We have lots of fossil evidence of these prehistoric hominids, and I'm sure that your teacher will show you lots of pictures and you'll be able to read about it from your textbook. But we'll continue looking at the different forms after the break.